What up, everyone? So, got a short little surprise video here for some things that I wanted to talk about. Some really quick collecting advice. I wanted to make a video of this. It's not enough information for its own video, so I thought I'd just throw it in. And this video is basically going to be some quick advice about Comic-Con, collecting things from Comic-Con, and also some things I've gotten from there. Just a few quick things here. So it'll be a pretty short video, but it's definitely some need-to-know information. And first of all, I didn't get to make it to Comic-Con. Tickets are so impossible to get these days. But I did. This whole city turns into Comic-Con. I live in San Diego, for those of you who don't know. The whole city becomes Comic-Con once it's here. So you really don't need to go into the building anymore. It's just everywhere. And a lot of the booths have moved out of the convention center as well. Like I heard some of the Funko stuff was being sold outside of the convention center, which was really interesting to see. But I got to do some of the other events, and I got to go to some signings. So I'll show you the cool stuff I got. But the one thing I want to talk about, and it's basically just how to, a good tip to know when you're trying to purchase Comic-Con exclusive stuff, particularly in reference to Funko. So back when I first started doing this, it was a lot harder to get stuff from Comic-Con, especially from Funko. You had to be there, you had to be in line, or you had to buy it online for like 10 times what it was worth. Now it's evolved, and now not only can you get the same stuff out in front of the convention center, you can get it anywhere in the country now. What they've done, they did this last year too, and a lot of you noticed, all the Comic-Con exclusive figures were also sent out to certain stores. And it's Barnes & Noble, Hot Topic, GameStop, and I think another one, I think maybe Walmart or something like that. And Target also got some too, where they split up all the exclusives, and each store got a certain figures, and they put them out in all their stores across America. So everyone had the chance to get them. The only problem with that is it actually devalues the Comic-Con ones. For those of you who know why they're so valuable, the Comic-Con or the New York Comic-Con ones, is because they have a limited run to each figure. And they'll say, they used to say on there, and they don't anymore, and there's a reason for that, and I'll let you know why. But when you're there, they give you a little pamphlet of what's there, or you can read online on their website. They'll say, this figure limited to 500 or 2,500 or 3,000, whatever it is, and that's supposed to be the amount that's at Comic-Con. So it gives you the illusion that it's rare and hard to find. What they don't tell you is that they kind of screw you. If you notice that the ones that you get in the store have a different sticker from the ones you purchase in Comic-Con. The ones you purchase in Comic-Con have the little sticker that says San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. The ones you get in the store, although it's the exact same figure in every way, the only thing different about it is the sticker. It'll say convention exclusive, not Comic-Con exclusive, convention exclusive. Now, why do they do that? Why do they just not sell them all at Comic-Con? It's because Funko are really money hungry, and they definitely like to screw people over, and they'll take any opportunity to make a quick buck. So it's not that they couldn't sell enough at Comic-Con. They obviously could. The line there is out the door. You can't even get into the line most of the time to buy from Funko. You have to be there at the right time just to get into the line for Funko just to purchase something. So trust me, they could sell millions of those if they wanted to, but they purposely put a limited run on them so they're more sought after, and they know people will buy them and try to resell them. So let's say a figure they say it has a limited run of 500. The 500 limited run is only with that Comic-Con sticker. Now they take the same exact figure, put a convention exclusive sticker, now it's different, now they can print as many as they want. So now that run isn't limited to 500, now it's limited to like 10,000. So that's where they kind of screw people, and that's something you need to know. It's the same figure, but the one with the Comic-Con sticker is rare, the one with the convention sticker is not rare. And we saw this last year where people bought them up when they saw them in the store and tried to sell them online, but they don't sell because they're still just sitting in there. I went into Hot Topic yesterday, and they have just shelves of the convention exclusive ones that are marked up to $15, but they have tons of them. And people try to sell them online, and they're not selling. A few of them are, but people aren't buying them. One, because there's so many of them out there, and two, there's so many listings that everyone has to keep dropping their price, so they cost pretty much the same online as they do in the store. So make sure, if you're trying to get the rarer version, that you get the one with the San Diego Comic-Con sticker on there. If you get a convention exclusive one, it's not rare at all. They print tens of thousands of them. An indicator of that you can check online. ones that say they're limited to 500. If you go on eBay, there's more than 500 listings. So that just kind of gives it away right there. And also keep in mind, if you just do the math, how many, let's say, Hot Topic stores there are in America. There are hundreds, if not thousands. And then each store probably got a couple dozen of them. The one at my store got 20 or 30 of each individual figure. So if you just multiply that in your head, it's obviously the numbers are off there. And that's because they put a different sticker on it so they can do as many as they want because they want to sell them. They're just giving the illusion that it's rare when it really isn't. So that's something that everyone needs to know. So if you're waiting, if you want one specific figure and you're about to pay a really high price online, don't. Just go check your local stores. They probably still have some left over and you can get them at regular price. Or just wait a little bit for the prices to go down on these, because that's what stupid people do. And that's why I made my first collecting device video, to wait for the hype to die down. Because everyone pays ridiculous prices because they list them really quick, but they die down almost instantly. Now that the weekend's over, check the prices again. I guarantee you they've gone down quite significantly. So my advice to buying not just Funko, but anything that's Comic-Con exclusive is wait. Hold off on it. If you had the chance to make it to Comic-Con, yeah, sure, purchase it. That's probably the cheapest you're going to see it. And then if you can't find it in store, yeah, you're going to have to buy it online, but just wait it out. I'll give you an example. Last year, NECA, I believe it was, they also did one this year that was Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive. They did the video game Ninja Turtles figures. And this year they did the classic ones. It's the same figure, just with a different paint job. And people went crazy for them. I even got them too because I thought they were really cool. I think they sold at Comic-Con for $100. I don't know the exact price. But I wanted those too, but I couldn't get it because they were selling online for $250, $300, $400, $500 and up. So people were making a crazy profit. But I waited, and the prices went down dramatically to the point where, to this day, you can go on eBay and buy that exact same thing that was selling for $400 for 60 bucks. No problem. Not even difficult to do, which I think may have actually been less than what it was when it was at Comic-Con. What you also need to realize is that these people, at whatever company it is, if they make a Comic-Con exclusive, they always do limited runs, but unless they have an exact number on there, it doesn't mean anything. And they can do the same thing like Funko, have an actual limited number, put the sticker on there. All they gotta do, if they have leftovers, change the sticker, and they can sell a whole another 10,000 of them. So that's something you guys need to know, and that's a trick you need to look out for. Because you need to realize that these companies that make them, they want to make them limited to make them sought after, but at the same time, they want to make money. That is their #1 priority. They want money over anything else. And if they see an opportunity they can get it, they absolutely will. You think these companies care about you? They do not. They just want your money. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news, but that's just how it is. So these companies will do that. They'll make a bunch of them and do a limited run at Comic-Con with that sticker. Once those sell out, they wait for the hype the prices to go up. Once they kind of die down, then they end up selling off a whole bunch extra that they made that just may not have that sticker, but are the exact same thing for dirt cheap months later, if not a year later. So just hold off on it. Don't spend a shitload of money, because I haven't gotten anything yet either as far as figures. There was one that I really wanted. Funko didn't have that many good ones this year. The one I really wanted, though, was the Ren and Stimpy 2-pack. And the shitty thing about it is I've only seen the Comic-Con exclusive ones. I don't know if they released it to a store, so ironically that may be the one that actually is only Comic-Con exclusive, which kind of sucks, because that was the only one I really liked. So if anyone has one, trade me. But yeah, most of them end up going to a store every once in a while. They will actually stick to their limited run, and they will be kind of rare. But who knows? Maybe they'll re-release it at a later date. I wouldn't be surprised. So to sum up here, my advice is wait. Just hold off. Follow my collection advice, my first one. Watch the trends. If it's going up and up and up, if listings start disappearing and there's only like one left, then you may have to. But usually, more often than not, that's not the case. Watch the numbers as they drop and drop and drop and drop. If you don't care about the rarity of the figure, buy the convention exclusive one, not the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive one. Because most people don't realize there's a difference, so you may be able to get the Comic-Con one at the same price as the convention one because they're just not selling. So something to know, and I mentioned it before, but I know a lot of people are still trying to find things because the weekend just passed. So I wanted to get that information out there, make sure everyone knows, because it is pretty important, and you can waste a ton of money take it from me personally because I have in the past. So learn from me and follow my advice. So that's the advice I wanted to give you. Next, we'll talk about the things I did get from the weekend of Comic-Con. Not actually in the convention center, but there's so many things that go on outside of there after Comic-Con closes because there's parties and signings and things like that. So I actually went to a signing. One of the biggest signings I've ever seen in my life. So it was for Wildstorm, and that is a comic distributor. Just like Image or just like IDW, Marvel, DC, Wildstorm is a comic distributor. It's a collective of a bunch of different types of comics. So some of you may have heard of it and may not have. It's not that popular. What they're known for, they did Wildcats, which did a crossover with Spawn. I remember that's how I found out about them. They did Gen 13, and they did Danger Girls, which had really amazing artwork. I loved it because it was Scott Campbell did that. He's an amazing artist. And yeah, those are the most popular in my opinion, what you know it for. So if you've heard of them, that's what Wildstorm is. So you may not think it's that big of a deal because it's so lesser known that it's not that big of a signing, but it's not the characters and the comics that were important. Wildstorm produced some of the most famous artists that the comic book scene has ever seen, including Jim Lee, Humberto Ramos, J. Scott Campbell are like probably the top 3 most recognizable. Everyone knows who Jim Lee is. Humberto Ramos did a lot of Spider-Man stuff, so did Scott Campbell. I actually just purchased a statue from Sideshow that Scott Campbell designed. So very, very well-known, very, very good artists. So they were all there, along with like 30 other people. It was all people that have worked on Wildstorm at some point, but I think there were like about 30 people there, including the top 3 I mentioned. So I got signatures from all of them. So I'll start with the simple ones. X-Men did this series of Jim Lee alternate covers, so I had him sign those. And they only had some there, so I didn't get the cool characters, but I got Phoenix, and then I got Jean Grey, and then we got Sabretooth, right there, and then I got Cyclops. I would have loved Wolverine or Gambit's my favorites, but they didn't happen to have those there. And I didn't know about those beforehand. This was a very last minute thing, and it was crazy crowded there. So me and my friends, or I did at least, got there hours before it started. So I was one of the first people to get in. I was probably number 30 in line, and it took us like 3 hours to get in there because there's so many people and it was so hectic in there. But the line was a mile long out the door. There was probably a few hundred people there at least, and they had to cap the line off, so I don't even know who got it, but I got in early, and I got everything I needed to, which was cool. And I also, if you saw my last video, my X-Men shirt was signed by Jim Lee. But what was really cool about it, they didn't tell us this, IDW, it was at IDW Publishing, by the way, that's where the signing was, where I go regularly, because Kevin Eastman's there. They're very terrible about organizing these. They're awful about it. They're terrible about organizing. They're terrible about giving information. It's so hard. Luckily, I live by it, or else I wouldn't ever know. And I showed up there, and they told us all this information, but they actually released a comic book that was only for that event. And I got it signed by everybody. So this was specifically for this Wildstorm event, which was awesome, because there wasn't really anything else that everyone could sign. They're releasing a new collective of Wildstorm artists that's coming out next month, but we obviously didn't have that. But they released this just for that event, which is really, really cool. So only people that were at the event got this, and most of the people didn't even get it because they have a limited run of 1,000. So you can actually see right there, it is actually hand numbered. So there were only 1,000 of these ever made, and there's also a stamp on there too, which you can tell it's like, has some texture to it. It's like beveled and embossed and stuff like that. Yeah, limited to 1,000. So like I said, I was number 30 in line, and they handed them out in order, and this was already 426. So the people ahead of me, people that were ahead of me were probably buying these by the boatload, so they probably got like tons of them. But yeah, I was only 30 in line. It was already up to almost 500, so I'm guessing not many people got them. But basically, here, I'll take it back up. It was just a collective of everyone's art. It has like short biographies of the people that were there and what they've done, what they did for Wildstorm, what they've done since then. They just had little biographies of all the people and some artwork of theirs in there. And I just got it signed by everyone there. I don't even know all the people that were there because there were so many of them. But you know, you're there anyway, might as well get everyone. But yeah, I don't think there has ever been, nor probably will there ever be, such a collective of this signing ever. So this is really special. So the fact that even the comic by itself is limited to 1,000 and you could only get it there, that already is so special. And adding on top of that, one individual signature makes it really cool. But all those people collective, including Jim Lee and those other people I mentioned, are all here on this one issue. And I actually ended up getting some extra because we had to buy these. They were kind of expensive. It was 20 bucks for the comic, but everything else was free, so it makes it totally worth it. So I actually did get some extra of those, and I thought maybe I'd do something with them. I'm probably going to end up selling them, but it might be hard to do. But yeah, those are not going to go for cheap. I'm sure there are going to be some for sale, because I know people bought extra, but they're not going to go cheap at all. Because like I said, this is such an amazing event to see all these people together, to meet them, to shake their hands, and to talk stuff with them. It was a really cool event, and these issues are really special too. The only other thing I got signed was something I picked up myself, because like I said, there wasn't anything out there. The closest I got was this gallery collection from Wildstorm, but this was back in the 90s. So this has most of the people in it. Like, it's got Humberto Ramos, it's got Scott Campbell, it's got Jim Lee, all the major players, but this was almost 20 years ago they released this book, and a lot of the people that were at the signing weren't in this book because they've worked there since then. So I got this, and it's still cool to have their signature on it, or most of the major people, but this is the best I could find. Luckily, like I said, they released that comic, so that was really cool as well. So that's what I got from that one event. It was really an honor to meet all those people. I've met most of my favorite artists that I've known, come to love, so really awesome stuff. So if anyone's interested in one of those, maybe we can work something out, but I may just end up keeping them all because they're so cool. So there was another signing I went to, which actually was technically before Comic-Con, but I thought I'd mention it since it's along the same lines. Same thing at IDW. They do signings once a month, and it's usually Kevin Eastman and one additional artist. This time, it was Stan Sakai. If you don't know who he is the creator of Usagi Yojimbo. So he's the Rabbit Samurai, which most people think is a Ninja Turtles character, but it actually isn't. He's shown up in the show, and a lot of people want to play him in like TMNT Legends, but you're probably not going to, because Ninja Turtles doesn't own the rights to him. Usagi Yojimbo is owned by Stan Sakai, and he is a completely separate thing. He has his own comic book, he's his own character, he just has done a crossover in the past. So that's why most people think it's a Ninja Turtles character. They've also made action figures of him, so there's been a lot of crossovers, so that's where that character comes from, and they did a signing together. Same situation though. They're doing a new crossover for Ninja Turtles of Usagi and Ninja Turtles coming out this month, but again, the signing was before that, which is so dumb. I don't know why they do it that way. But up until then, there was never an appearance of Usagi in any Turtle comics. He's been in the TV show and in action figures, but he never was in any Turtle comics. The only thing that ever happened was that Turtles were in Usagi Yojimbo. They crossed over, but it was only one direction. So I got number 1 Usagi, signed by Stan, and then they made 2 appearances. They did crossovers with Turtles here, and then Turtle there, so I got them both to sign those. And the only other thing I could find was this thing called Shell Shock, which was a compilation of different comics, including them. So I got them both to sign that. It's really cool. They both actually drew a turtle head. So I got Kevin Eastman and then Stan Sakai. They both drew a little turtle head on there, which was really nice. But this is just a compilation. It's like a graphic novel. It's not worth anything. But it's the only closest I can find. And then I got the original Turtle Soup, which, if you don't know what Turtle Soup was, back in the day, they did a compilation where they invited other artists to do Ninja Turtles comic strips, and Stan Sakai was one of them. This is the very first Turtle Soup a long time ago, so they invited a bunch of artists and they did short little stories and combined them in here. So I'm not even sure if Eastman and Laird did comics in here. They might have, but I got them both to sign that too. So that's the closest I can find, because like I said, they're doing a crossover, but it's not coming out till later, which sucks, but you know, I did the best I could. So that was another signing where we got to go to, and that was really cool. I've met Kevin Eastman a couple dozen times, and I have a bunch of sketches by him, but usually when they do collaboration stuff, they won't do any sketches, it's just signings. So that's why I was pretty stoked that they both even drew like a Ninja Turtle head on there, because that was more than pretty much anyone else got, because you see by all the other signatures that I got or anyone else got, it was just a quick little signature. It's barely even recognizable. So I was pretty honored that I even got that much, because I don't think most other people did. But I'm always usually one of the first people there, so they're a little more lenient with stuff. But that was another cool thing too. And they always do signings with special artists. The artist that did, Freddie Williams, that did Batman Ninja Turtles, I went to theirs too. He's a great artist too, so it's always cool to get like special stuff like that. So that was all the stuff I've gotten. The only things I gotten were signatures, but pretty iconic stuff. So I just wanted to share with you guys, just do a little thing on it. And if I pick up any more stuff, I'll be sure to talk about that as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope the advice was helpful to you. I hope you take the tips and use them. I know this video is a little bit late, so hopefully you haven't spent a bunch of money and you can use that to your advantage. And I hope you enjoyed seeing those signed stuff, because that special edition issue, you're probably never going to see it again because there's so few of them that exist in the world. But yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts. Who are the fans out there? If you like the artists, so on and so forth. Anyway, thank you all for watching and supporting. See you on the next video. Love y'all. Peace.